Hi, my name is Trolls from VAP, and in this video we're going to take a deep comprehensive look at our 10-piece drum machine ensemble, and especially featuring our spot microphones. As you may know, with the VAP Extreme Ensemble libraries, they actually come in 5 different libraries. We have a 10-piece drum machine kit, which I'll be demonstrating in this video, but we also have a 10-piece analog synthesizer kit, we have a 10-piece electric guitar kit, we have a 10-piece bass kit, and to wrap up the party, we also have a 10-piece acoustic drum kit ensemble. So in essence, you have 50 different players in this entire collection, and it is the most extreme sampling project I've ever embarked into, and I've ever seen or heard, both in the commercial and custom realms. One of the very unique aspects about our Extreme Ensemble series is that they each of the 5 libraries come with 15 microphone positions. And I actually have another video where I'm demonstrating the drum machine ensemble with the 5 hall microphones, but in this video I'm only going to be focusing on demonstrating our drum machine ensemble using our spot microphones. And this is really where the libraries get interesting, because it's not only that you have the beautiful big ensemble sound, and we have a whole other video where I'm demonstrating that for the drum machines, but we also have individual spot mics for each of the players. So whether it's the analog synthesizers or acoustic drum kits or basses or electric guitars or drum machines, you actually have 10 different spot mics, and you can see them symbolized here on this page. And this page is similar for all the libraries, where you can go in and isolate different players. And as you can see here, you have all the individual ones here. You can actually click on and off. You can load the individual parts here. And before we get into it, let me also just briefly mention that we actually have 2 videos for each of the libraries in our Extreme Ensemble series. And the reason is that we have these 5 hall microphones for all the libraries, and these are awesome. We have a mixed Decca, far, wide, and close mic, and this is really where you can play the ensemble. And we have separate videos for each of the libraries demonstrating how the hall mics work. But in this video, I'm only going to be focusing here on the spot mics, and there is so much you can do. Whether it's building your own ensembles, you can see here, you can actually click on and off and build your own ensembles here. And each of these kits are very different. They're actually entirely different drum machines. And that also goes for the guitars and the basses. You know, each instrument have their own vibe and amplifier. We actually have amplified signals for a lot of the instruments as well in the hall. So there's a really unique character. And the spot microphones really allows you to either build your own ensemble kits, but it also allows you to sort of dive in and get a more local sound. So it's not always you want the big epic ensemble sound. Sometimes you want to go in and dial something more local, studio sounding, if you will. And let me just give you a couple of examples here of some of the different kits, and really take a deep look at how comprehensive and deep this library actually goes. It's insane how much you can do with both the hall mics, but also in particular here with the spot mics, in terms of just creating super unique kits that you've never heard before. So obviously, if you've listened to our ensemble drums, these sound entirely different. This is way more studio, clear sounding, upfront kind of sound. And one of the great aspects as well, you can see we have 2 kits activated here, our kit number 1 and our kit number 8, is that you can actually go in and manipulate each kit. For example, on kit number 8 here, I turned up the pitch envelope so it goes more like boom. Whereas with the first kit here, I actually did the opposite, so it goes the other way around. And obviously you have a crazy amount of parameters here, whether it's volume, pan, spread, amplifier envelopes, pitch envelopes, you got tone, drive, sort of distortion, you can detune it, you got your ADSR, you got your filters. And obviously down here, we also got our chaos effects here, so you can really create more gritty kits if you want. And speaking of gritty, let me just take a look here at the next kit here. This one is more sort of, I call it like distorted kind of calypso. You can see here that the volume is a little bit up. There's a little more tone and drive on it. And also down here, and this is kind of interesting, we both have activated our stereo delay, but I'm also using our new transform. And it's not because transform is new in itself, but we added all these textual convolution delays down here. And they're awesome because it allows you to create a delay effect, but with a texture inside of it. Let me just try to play a little groove here so you can hear what it sounds like. And that whole tonal aspect, the boo sort of in the background, that's coming from our convolutions here. Let me just try another one here so you can hear the difference. Let me take one down here. You can hear that texture. This is a more non-tonal one. And the great thing about the textual convolutions down here as well is that they're tempo synced. So you can hear. And it's awesome because it's not just a typical delay. It actually creates other textures inside of it. So cool, really for like rhythmic stuff. This is more tonal. Let me just roll down here to one of the next kits here. Let's try this guy. And as you probably noticed, there's also a little bit of a transformer going on here. This was the fresh one. And generally speaking, these guys up here are more sort of sound effectsy. And the one that says tempo sync down here are all our new textual convolutions that are tempo sync. They're so useful for creating that more otherworldly kind of beat. Another great part to the Spot Mic series, also they're great for kind of pop productions. They have that very sort of tight Max Martin-like sound. Let me try another one here. This is also sort of a pop sounding, pop max. And again, I'm only showing you a little tiny part of the library. Obviously, you can generate your own kits by either combining them down here or combining each of them by using parameters down here. We also have more effects here. We actually have a main page here where you can control the velocity response of your keyboard controller. You can assign filters to your mod wheel, low pass, high pass. You got your offset button as well. So if you want to get more sort of a tighter sound, you can dial in the offset here as well. We have an arpeggiator, and there's actually a step-based sequence here as well if you really want to go crazy and start making some crazy arpeggiations. But let's go back here to the advanced page and let's try another kit here. And I'm sort of just fooling around right now. Let's say that you're looking for, let's try a snare here. So you can see this is actually 3 different kits isolated. This is 2, so let's see, I kind of want a different sound. Oh, that might be good. Yeah, more tight. So you can sort of sit a dial in, and obviously you have each of the keys down here representing a different part of the drum kit. So there's an enormous amount. It's not just that single snare. It's everything on the keys. So let's say we're looking for a fat bass drum as well. Let me just try here. Yeah. So you can see I'm sort of sitting in that. Yeah, it had a little more of attack on top of that. So let's say, okay, I want this a little more present. You can dial in the volume, that part. And play around with the envelopes. Might be a little too sharp. Yeah, let's go in down here. Try to. So you can see that one had a really strong pitch envelope, so it went down. Boom. So that might be a little too much. So let's say you want to sort of dial it down. Yeah, that sounds good. So that's a quick way of just dialing in. If you really want to like get in and get exquisite with your kits and sort of build up the right ones, you can absolutely do that way. Let me try another kit here. I love clean kits like that. This is for me just the perfect sound where there's like a lot of clarity, not too much distortion in the kit. Let's try this high-tech guy here. And obviously that's just me fooling around with the filter. And again, you can actually right click on, of course, on any component of the library. You can see the filters automatically set to your CC1, your mod wheel. And if you want to say you want to have a low pass or a high pass instead, you can actually do it that way as well. So for example, if you want to play in real time with the sample offset of the samples, you can actually put it to your controller here. So it'd be something like, so you can see we sort of go deeper into the sample. So you cut a little of the attack out if it's too much. And obviously you can also do that using the ADSR here. And if you ever want to appreciate the beautiful rendering work we've done from the outside, you can always go out here. But for the most part, you're probably going to be in here. I just like clicking and like to appreciate all the crazy 3D work we've done. It takes a normal amount of contact. It's actually not a 3D engine, so we have to render everything per frame for any of you guys who are interested in the graphical side of things. Let's move on here to a more slow and sexy type of style of kit. So as you can see, as we just go through different kit combinations here, there's like an eternal amount of stuff you can do. It actually never really stops. Let me just try this tiny little distorted kit. And this one I actually played a little around with the tuning, so you're gonna hear a much more high-pitched kind of kit. And as you can probably hear, there's a lot of things going on. Obviously, I was going cray-cray on the filter here as well, but also inside of the chaos effects here, a little bit of bit crosser with a lowered resolution. Obviously, you had a little bit of the textural convolution delays as well. So there's a lot you can do. We also added a phaser and a flanger here to chaos effects, and these are particularly great for the Extreme Ensemble synthesizer part. And speaking of synthesizers, I actually have a little bonus thing here in the library. This is something we added last minute. It's from my private collection, and this is actually my favorite synthetic drum kit. I did it a couple of years ago, and I've been keeping it to myself because but we decided to put it in the library here really just to round up the experience with drum machines. So there's no spot mics, anything. This is really a kit that I've been handcrafting over quite some time actually. Everything is just like exactly how I wanted it. So I'm gonna play you a couple of different variations using this one. It is my hands down my favorite drum machine ever, especially for more cinematic motion, picturesque, ambient kind of sound. It has a very full, rich body, a little contemporary and hip hop side, but also some sort of cinematic effects. But yeah, let me try to play a little bit here. And that is the wonders of having an awesome analog drum machine and simply just sitting with it forever and dialing things. And speaking of forever, actually, let me play you another variation of the same patch here. This is called Ambient Forever, and it's because it's very long, lush, and ambient, especially for a drum machine. It's got that boom, and the next one here does as well. This is another variation. This is a little more distorted variation of the kit. I actually created 5 different presets because I love it so much. So selfishly created a little extra content here. This one is, a little more ambient distortion. And yes, that is exactly the same drum kit we just heard in the previous examples as well. Obviously, I'm playing a little around with the tuning. All the tonal components was using the toms. And then I assigned the bit resolution here to my mod wheel. You can right click on any of these guys and assign them. And particularly for this one here, playing with in real time. So you get a little bit of variation in the resolution of the bit crusher. It's just awesome. It's creating a little more sort of lively feel to it. And also for the fun of it, I actually created a patch which is just reversed. And when I say just, it's a little more surprising than I actually thought. Yeah, who would have known that you could use a drum kit for ambient music? Let me wrap it up here with one last preset from our ambient kit. And in this case, I'm also going to play a couple of the other ambient kits and really just show you, just like we did with the ensemble ones, which is all about the big, epic, motion, picturesque, cinematic sound. But what actually happens once you start combining the spot mics and the bonus patch here as well together and really just create some beautiful, unique grooves. This is, for me, the ultimate adventure into deep percussive programming for drum machines. There's so much you can do with this. this library, so much leverage, and I hope this video demonstrated just a little bit of the versatility on the spot mics. And obviously we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have a different video as well demonstrating the hall microphones here, which has a completely different sound, much bigger, larger, you really get the full bleed of the orchestral hall. And you can actually hear sometimes on the spot mics here, we actually use both direct input and spots and mix them together. So there's a little bit of the hall present in the spot mics as well, but it's very, very narrow. And of course, you can also combine the two if you really want to get into like more crazy ensemble stuff as well. But yeah, let's just take the drums here for a last spin, and I hope to see the other video. This has been an incredibly long project for us. It's been taking over 2 years to put this library together, and there's over 100,000 samples, and I think there's over 100 gigabyte the entire collection, and that's lossless compression. So it's an enormous collection. And actually for me, and it's funny sitting here and doing videos, I'm actually intimidated by the library because like, what did we do? Like, we obviously ventured deep out in the woods. Nobody's ever done this before to this degree, and we're coming back with the results so unique, so beautiful and lush and surprising at times, and as you can see in this video as well, just hyper flexible as well. So anyway, that's me talking. Proof is in the pudding, so let's just get the kits rolling here, and thank you so much for watching.